As some of you may know, I'm a graphic designer by day, and recently I've been wanting to make my own cover for a project that I'm going to be working on in November for NaNoWriMo, or at least I hope I'm going to be working on that project during Nano, and I really get motivated by doing things like mood boards, putting playlists together, and also doing mock-up covers. This project is meant to be something a little bit spicy, a reverse harem, something a little bit fun, and obviously supernatural. I want my main character to be a witch, and in general I love paranormal romances, so it's a little bit of all of those things. And as I often say, I mostly write magic and murder, and this is very much the same here. My working title is The Knights of Death, and I put together this cover that I made with Photoshop mostly and Illustrator to put the typefaces in, but everything that is in this cover I technically paid for because I use the programs that I pay for, as well as all of the elements, the fonts and the skull. All of those are from Envato, which I pay a yearly subscription to as well. I wanted to see if I could recreate this exact same cover or something very similar in Canva, because that is what most people will be using nowadays, in particular authors, because it's a free program. But I want to see whether we can achieve something really similar, and you guys could achieve something similar if you wanted to. Now, the challenging part is that I have never used Canva properly. I've used it a tiny bit to put together something from a template someone else had put together for me for a thumbnail for an event that I'm co-hosting in, and that's about it. So I'm not very versed in Canva. I'm just assuming that with my original design skills in other programs is going to be quite intuitive, and hopefully we're not going to struggle too much, but be patient with me. Okay, so as you can see, I've opened Canva. I'm on a free account. I'm not gonna try Canva Pro, and I don't know much about how this initial setup works, but I can see that there's several things that you can start from in order to get the right size and format and everything. So I see there's a book cover. I'm assuming you can also search for it if you guys can't see the same thing in your templates initially. So I'm assuming if I go here in templates, there's gonna be more items. I can probably look for it. Search, yeah. Book cover. Book cover. And here's some book cover templates. It also says create a blank book cover, which is what I want to do. I don't really want to start from a template. So let's go ahead and click this. So this is the reference that we're going to try to work from. And I'm just going to keep it over here under this window so I can see it in the corner. I'm going to start by going in elements, and as you can see, I've got in my recently used the kind of skull that we're looking for, because I was checking earlier whether this would even be doable in Canva, because I have no idea. So the way I just did it was to search skull, and then you have graphics, photos, videos, audio. I went in photos because that's the style that I'm using in this picture here. So I went in photos, and actually there's also this skull here that's quite cool, and this one I quite like as well. And you can see all of the little crowns say pro, so I can't use any of these. But the one that I found when scrolling down, I quite like this one, and I like this one, mostly because this one is already on a dark background. I don't really need to do much else. It's got this a similar type of vibe and shadow on top of the skull, so it's workable. However, it's not facing us, but I think that's fine. Now that I have my skull, edit photo, that would be good. I don't think I'm gonna use a filter, but let's see what else we can do. Okay, what about adjust? There we go. So in the adjust section, I think that's where we're going to find more similar things to Photoshop and a little bit more what I'm looking for. I want to have more shadows. Oh, so I need to bring it down. Okay, I want the black to be more intense. I think I want to have more of a black and white type of image, because that's what I started with in mind, so I'm just bringing down the saturation all the way down. What else? Do I want to bring my whites down? I think that's gonna give me more of a faded look like I have in mind, so that's quite good. And the highlights as well, so it's like slightly more appearing. Okay, brightness a little bit more down. Contrast can go up because it brings the shadows up again. Okay, I think that's quite That's a good start. Can I put the temperature up, or will it not change anything because I brought the saturation down? I think that's the problem. So if I bring the saturation back up and then temperature up, maybe a tint. I've got a bit of a pinkish tint on mine, so this is sort of similar. This is similar. Now that we've got this, let's add another element. We need roses, and I've put 4 of them. So let's see if I just put roses, and it's gonna be in pictures as well. So if I click here, white roses, that's what I need. These are quite good, this one right here, and I could just duplicate it. So I could have them here. I want to scale it down this way. Cool. So I could just do this and then duplicate. There we go. Flip here. Flip horizontal. Perfect. Let's bring this up a bit. I think I can leave that one smaller, and I want to bring that one up front. So layer, bring to front. Okay, that seems about right. Now I need to do something similar in my adjustment. I may have to actually, I'm gonna do this first with this one, and then I will duplicate and flip it. So let's edit the photo first. So we're gonna bring the brightness down, contrast up, highlights down, shadows down, maybe even more, yeah, whites very much so down, black goes up, and saturation goes down by a bit, and then we can put the temperature up and the tint as well. That's quite nice. Let's put the brightness even lower. I think that's about right. A vignette is actually helping as well. I think that's quite good. And then, oh yeah, flip, horizontal, and maybe bring it slightly down so they're a little bit different. Position, can I rotate? Yeah, like maybe 10? No, the other way around, so -10. There we go. And this one maybe 10. Yeah, it's not perfect actually. I think the rotation, where was this position? Okay, the rotation is maybe a little bit too much, so maybe like 5. There we go. Yeah, I think that works. And I think this one was rotated a little bit too much as well. I keep forgetting it's in position. Let's just do -6. Yeah, I think that looks a bit better. There we go. Cool. Maybe I can just make the contrast bigger and the whites a little bit brighter. I could just make the contrast much higher. And actually, I don't like this texture thing. I think I'm just gonna bring it back down. There we go. But the vignette is not bad. I feel like the vignette works and gives more of a contrast effect. So maybe this is better. So let me just duplicate this one, flip horizontal, and bring it down a tiny bit, and position, make it minus, I think it was -6, maybe more, -8. There we go, seems to work, and make this one back to the front. Yeah, I think I prefer this. It's not massively different, but it works for my purpose. So now that we've got this initial image, we can start adding text to everything. So let's go to the text element. Where can I find typefaces? I guess add a heading. Oh, so I can change it there. Okay, cool. So let's put nights as the big one. I'm gonna move it here, and let's find a font that works. So the typeface I've got for nights off is what we call black letter type of typeface. So let me look for that and see whether it comes up. Yeah. Suggestions of Gothic and medieval, similar vibes. So we can work with some of these, I think. That's quite nice. Like, first try, it's already really lovely. Let's move it up here and make it bigger. 175, quite good. I would make it even bigger actually, but if we change the typeface, it might need to go smaller. Okay, so what else do we have? I like that one. I like this one. It's quite funky. It's a bit different. We have Doppler. It's a little bit too square for me and harder to read with the K especially. I like to try several options before I settle onto the one. This is really nice. I quite like this. But I think out of this one and the initial one, the first one I tried, I prefer the first one. And I think I'll make it even bigger. 232 seems to be the right size. I'm not sure now that I'm seeing it bigger. I'm wondering if I need something a little bit more thin, a bit more sleek. What else did I have in the options? I quite like this one actually, so maybe this is the way. Is this the one? It's got something funky about it. Is this a capital K? Yeah, minuscule K doesn't look like a K at all. Okay, let's put it back. I just worry that this reads like an R. Like I'm not entirely sure about this K. The pirate ones was really nice. If I choose the pirate one, I can make the letter spacing bigger. Like say 50. And then make this like 260 maybe. That's quite nice. I actually quite like that. I think that works. And then duplicate this and type off. And then make this start here. And I think it is smaller in my initial picture. So like maybe 200? Maybe 200. Put it down. Okay, that's working for now. So next I need the word death, which is in a brushy type of font and in pink. So I'm just gonna type it out first, and I'm just gonna change my letter spacing back to 0. Oops, did that not work? Oh, I think I deleted it. There we go. Change this back to 0. Yeah. Then I'm gonna change the typeface and I'm gonna search for brush. That should give me some results. Regular brush maybe? That's very similar. That's very, very similar. I think that might work. There's also this one. No, that's too much. It's too pretty and cute. That doesn't work. Caveat maybe? No. No, I think we had a winner. This is our winner. Yeah, that's perfect. And then I'm gonna change the color to a magenta type of pink. And then I'm gonna change the position to rotate this. So I'd say maybe 10, oops, minus 10, I mean. That's already quite close. I need this to be bigger actually. So we're gonna make this 250 and maybe make the spacing a bit tighter. That works nicely. And I think the pink isn't perfect. It needs to be a bit different. Let me adjust it. This is more like my kind of Barbie pink. Cool. And I think the angle, I can change it a little bit more. So let's do minus 12. Yeah, that works for me. And I like that it overlaps my other letters a little bit. It's already looking really nice. So I'm gonna move everything down a tiny bit because I like that it's a little bit more on the skull. And then I'm gonna add a new text box that's gonna be my name, and we're gonna need a sans serif type of font. So I'm just gonna type in sans serif, yeah, sans serif. And actually, I can't remember what I'm using. I think I'm using something really basic. I think PT sans might be fine, like just something like that. I'll need it to be like maybe 50, yeah. Move it up here, make it all caps. Where do I do that? Here. All caps, and then I like a little bit of spacing in my letters. I'm gonna make it 75. That works, and I think I need it to be smaller than that, so like maybe 40. Yeah, that works. Is it still aligned? Yeah, it's aligned. Okay, and I think I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. There we go. Cool. Now I'm gonna duplicate this, and we're gonna type the tagline. She's everything. Dot. Return. There. Just death. Dot. And then we're gonna make this bigger. Maybe 75. That's a bit big. I think maybe more like 60 is probably right. Yeah, 60 is right. Bring this down. Does that work? I feel like it needs to be lower and the design a bit bigger. So we're gonna bring it here, and then we're gonna make all of my assets. Well, actually, let's make the flowers a bit bigger first. Bring them down a bit, and then make my skull a bit bigger. And make sure it's down enough. I think here, yeah, centered. It's a bit hard to see because every time I click on it to do this, I can't see the flowers anymore. I think I just want them to be sort of aligned like this. I think this looks perfect. Excellent. We've got a cover. we've finally got a cover, and this is my two covers next to each other. I realize now that I could have made the header, the title of the book, a little bit bigger on my new one, the one that I had on Canva. And also, I don't think I've got the exact same book format for both of those, but doesn't matter too much because obviously I'm not actually using this to print right now, so this was just sort of more of an exercise for myself and just to get something aesthetic. I think the main flaw of the Canva version is probably the fact that the skull is a bit too shiny, the flowers are just not contrasty enough, and those details are very much down to the lack of something like Photoshop. When it comes to everything else that I did, which is adding the typeface, making it work nicely, changing the colors, etc. All of those aspects I can do in InDesign, or I can do it in Canva perfectly well when it comes to graphic design itself. So, you know, typeface, placing elements, making them work together, that works absolutely fine. So yeah, I'm still pretty pleased with this Canva version of it, and I'm really happy that we were able to create something really similar. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching me trying to figure this out in Canva, especially since I hadn't really properly used the app before, so I hope that this helped you figure it out alongside me if you're trying to also use it to create a cover, a mock-up for your own projects. And if you did like this type of video, I can absolutely make more of it and try to make other cover designs using Canva specifically, or copy what I would have done before using Photoshop, InDesign, etc. and do something really similar to what we did today. If you like this video, consider leaving a like, leave a comment down below. I always try to respond to those. Consider subscribing, ring that bell, all that jazz, and I will see you guys in the next one.